Hello my friends, it is Monday. Today is let me check real quick, the 25th of August 2025, and it is time for a weekly Flosstube recap. So I'm here for you today to show you what I've been doing this past week. As per usual, there will be a few familiar faces in my projects, as if you've been watching, you know that I am currently mainly working on my 2 model stitches that I want to finish by the end of the month, so which will also be this week's main focus going forward after I'm done filming. And there is also like a project that you might not have seen if you're more recent viewer that I desperately need to put some more work into, but we will get at that. And then there's one thing that I will probably go on a little bit of a tangent about. And then in the end, after going through all of my whips, I have not been stitching as much this week as I used to last week, because I've been working a little bit on my project organization. And if you're interested in that, that will be at the end of the video, after showing my whips that I've been touching. So yeah, let's go straight into the nitty-gritty of our cross stitch. And if I sound funny, I am still sick. This cold has been very persistent. If it lasts for another week, don't worry, I'm probably gonna go check out the doctor or two, but I'm not feeling too bad. It's just very annoying. So I'm gonna switch to the top-down view and show you my works in progress of the week. So first project I worked on is the current favorite and has been for a bit. Let's see if I can put it in frame. It's the coffee dragon, and this is what it will look like when it is done. Let me pull it out so you can see where I've worked on this week. This is a little bit over the place because I'm doing more or less color completion on this, going strand by strand. I started it all the way up here, but you'll see more about that in my whip parade. I have been working more in the little dragon's head in the middle. Last time you saw it, that was only the black, I believe, that I did, and I worked a few more colors into its little eye, and by now you can see a little bit of his face coming in. Let's put the picture to the side again so you can see. This is his little mouth, and the snout is over here. It's the eye, obviously, and then the horns going up here all the way into the foliage. Yeah, I did quite a few strands in here, and I didn't work all of them in completely, so they're on the bobbin, but this is the progress on Coffee Dragon. Stitched 1/1 full cross on 28 count, some type of even weave / Ida from China. Next up we have one of my oldest full coverages. Oh, this is the right way. It's this one. It's also one of my furthest. This is a total of 25% done, or 26 now. And this is one of my own pictures. This was my first ever Dungeons and Dragons character. This is a friend's character. Then I had a little, I wouldn't call it a romance, a little fling going, and this is one of the artworks I made for it. And then I charted it into a cross stitch way back when I started cross stitching in 2022, I think. So let's see where I am with this. And I will not fully unroll it because it's big, as you can see. This is the full width, and it goes, it's quadratic, rectangular-ish, go all the way to the bottom. So, and I have worked up here. I had thought about finishing this row, and I did one of these 10 by 10 squares up here, and I wanted to finish like this row, but then again I changed my mind and moved over here and worked in this page. So I finished, like, I filled in all of the background in between the strands of hair over here, finished this column almost. There's a little bit left down here, you can see, and then the other two. And I think there's like this is the last row on the page, and once these 3 rows are finished, that will be another page finish. and then there will be 2 more pages and 1 page that only has 2 rows, and then this entire row of pages will be finished. So, and this is bulky. This I do not want to see the back. I mean, you see part of the back here, but I don't know if you can see. This is the fabric warped slightly because this is so bulky, but it's doable. When I continue stitching and filling in, it's gonna even out a little, but I don't know if you can see that it is warped slightly over here, because this part here especially is so thick because there are so many color changes in this part here between these hair strands. You can see there's so many colors of gray and purple in here that can't even it's fine in the background and the hair and everything, but there's like some minor spaces in this thing that are very, very thick. So again, if I would unroll it, there's another page finished all the way over here of the second row, and then at one point I went down a little bit, but since I didn't work in that part, you'll see that. If you want to see how it currently looks all in all, go back to my whip parade, and you will be able to see more of it. But I want to put this back a little bit more into focus because it's my oldest and my furthest full coverage, and it's massive. It has, I think, 250. Let me get my notes, and then I will be able to tell you how many stitches does this baby have. When we come to my new organization system, which will also tell me, yeah, 242,500 stitches in total. And this is how much it has, and of which I have done 36,091, 26.02%. All right, on to the next one. So next up, and this is where I will go off on a tangent. I have done stamped kits before, but I have been a lot more careful with buying any because, well, most of you will probably know that there's a lot of copyright issues with those. They're often stolen designs and whatnot. I did see this one, and please don't mind it being dirty. Like, it's obviously discolored. I didn't think about still needing it for filming, so I put it on the kitchen table and put a coffee can on it, so that it has coffee stains all over, because a coffee can leaks. We just put some paper we don't need anymore under it, and tangent, like I said. So this is obviously an AI image, which cannot be copyrighted. So I was like, I still like it. So I was like, fine, let's give this a chance. It wasn't overly expensive. So I got it. And here comes my tangent. If you look at this picture, first off, there is a lot of white in it. And yes, I know, this is a 14 count. You see the size over here. This is not even a meter. This is probably gonna, you will see how big it is. It's obviously not gonna be as detailed as this picture. That is impossible. It will be pixelated. Oh, why am I out of breath? It's just damn cold. Anyway, just for a quick explanation. Let me show you the actual thing. I was positively surprised at first when I saw that this came bobbinated. I do not bobbin my floss. I would unwind these and put them on a floss drop anyway, but still, it's a nice touch, isn't it? So first impression, not too bad. There is no white in this. And again, you see this picture, there are stars. There's like a shit ton of white. Sorry, I shouldn't curse on camera. There's a lot of white in this. There is no white in this project at all. So let's put this aside. Other than that, it's a stamped kit, and I'm including it because I worked on it. As you can see, I did put at least 200 stitches in it, and then I began to see like the issues pretty much from the start. There's like, I don't know if you can see it, probably put it closer. The top here, this is where there should be the first white. This is not white. This is dark. I mean, there's possibly gonna be a little bit white in this start. It's actually very bright over here, but then again, this color is a gray or light purple that's gonna be stitched in here. So now, all of that wouldn't have been too much issue. I know, again, this is never gonna be gonna look like the cover picture. No chance. Now, the entire main gripe I have with it, and why I will not work on this anymore, I will repurpose this, I will wash the fabric. This is not too bad 14 count fabric. Once it's washed, it's not going to be stiff anymore, and I will use it for something else. Same with the floss. It will go into my off-brand floss thing, my box for all the flosses that don't even have numbers. I will check if they are the same as the CXC with the same numbers that I have. Otherwise, in the box they go to be used eventually. So, excuse me. This kit, this is the legend, and you can already see that there are at least 2 colors that are incredibly similar, being the pink and the darker pink, which seems fine now. And if you have like bigger parts like this here, you can tell them apart. However, when you have like parts where there's like single stitches of it, it's hard. This is already hard, and that is okay. I have good eyes, I can work with that. And then there's the red. We have a red, like a bright red, and then we have a magenta. You can tell them apart on the legend, obviously, but do tell me, can you tell them apart in the actual project? So the red is a blue and the magenta is a grayish purple. So you can at least think about it a little bit, like the red all of this red is probably going to be just the dark blue because it's in the background is dark blue. But, and here's my problem, there is both colors up here in the horns, and you cannot see, like, just take this part, just this part here, this little part. 2 of these are magenta. Can you see which one? I can't. So, I mean, I can very, very vaguely. Same here. This here will be magenta. This here's red. And it shows up a little better on camera, possibly, as far as I can see. But when I have it on my table, even with good lighting, it is so hard and next to impossible to discern. I've had this problem before with another pattern, and I think it is vaguely similar with like the light blue and this middle blue, but that's not as bad. But like the red and the magenta were at a point where I was like, no, I'm just not gonna bother with this. And usually, like with the other pattern I have, like with the other printed kit that has 2 colors that are too similar, they give you a chart. Usually when you buy a printed pattern, like you get a paper chart like this. And with the other one where I have a similar issue, they are also like, how do you say this? The pattern, like the printed pattern is better quality. They have, like, if you look at something in Pattern Keeper when there are numbers or letters on top of the actual colored blocks, the printed patterns have that as well. This one, however, does not. And I was hoping that this one would at least allow me to discern the red and the magenta better, but you can't. It is even worse on the printed chart. On the printed chart, there is no way to tell which one of these is red and which one is magenta. And while you can do it with the pink ones, you can see, which was my first gripe, the pink and the purple, that's very discernible on the printed pattern. The red is impossible. So, that being said, I was very disappointed in this. I don't know if I will ever bother with the cheap printed pattern, like cheap printed thing again. Sometimes I like them, but because printed projects obviously have their pros and cons, but this one will be washed and the fabric will be repurposed. So long tangent, on to the next project, which will be my model stitches. Okay, I lied. There's one other pattern I worked before model stitches. It's this one. I don't think I have shown this since my whip parade. It is a small full coverage. It's a Hobbit or like Lord of the Rings, but this is the Hobbit, because like Erebor, the Lonely Mountain, if you've watched The Hobbit, you know. This is by Country Magic Stitch. They have a lot of these pretty like travel poster-esque projects. So let's see what I did on this one. And this is small. This is the entire width of the project once it's done. Not the length, obviously. I'm stitching, because I'm stitching this like 2/1 10 stitch on 28 count, so this is going to be small and dainty. I worked in a little bit more in this darker color of the sky with this lighter color in, and started a little bit on this blue shade in the mountain. So that is where this one's at. And now we will get to model stitches. First off, with the model stitches, this is where our haunted house is currently at. I've been putting quite a few stitches in there, so the only colors that are still missing is obviously quite a bit more of 310 and some more yellow, because the other windows here in this tower and the rest of the house over here still need to be finished. And the rest of the tree, and there's like a little bit more fence there. All of the little beds are done. The moon is finished. And yeah, I think it's looking great. It's coming along nicely, and I hope I will be able to finish it this week, so I can make it available for all of you in my Etsy store. This is not going to be a Patreon exclusive. This will be one of my free releases this fall. I still have to think about a Patreon release for October, but that will be fine. I have my September one, which I'll be showing you next. So this is the haunted house. Hopefully one more week of work will finish this. And then for the Patreon pattern that will be available next month for my patrons, it's the berry drink. This has also gotten quite a bit of work. I finished most of the white. You can not see it very well. There's like white highlights all around here and up in the berries. So all of the white is done. I added the green, I think. I've not seen that last week. And some more of, yeah, all of the outlines are done. So the only thing I need to do is filling all of the light purple in the rest of the little box here. And then some of the dark purple for these other berries and the straw. And then this one will be done. I think it's only about 250, 300 maybe stitches left. So that should be quick work this week. So you will get this on my Patreon. Like, it's available from the lowest tier, which is like €5 a month. So if you want to get this, keep in mind, feel free to sign up. I will very much appreciate the support, but you will definitely see this next week as a finish. So that is projects, and now we will move back. Well, I'd say we move back to my face, but I'm gonna show you a little bit about my new organization that I'm working on, and then we will have a quick chat about plants, and then we will be done for the week. So here you get to see a little bit of my chaos. This is my stitching shelf. I have like 4 entire, this is currently not completely full because some of them are still on my desk, the ones that I've filmed with. Like, I have this 1, 2, and there's 3, 4, and there's one more down here. Just ignore the chaos because again I'm organizing. There's one more down here, and so 5 shelves. That is all my whips, I think, unless some are like somewhere off in the distance. So you can see like there's a difference between these two shelves and the ones down here, because these ones I haven't done yet. These ones over here though, these are numbered. You can see they all have these cute little luggage tags on them, where I've printed out what the projects will look like when they're finished, like their cover pictures. And when I flip them around, they have a number on them. So I will show you what the numbers are for in a moment. So these are all numbered, so I can either like check my list if I'm looking for a specific project by name and find it by the number, or I can, if I don't know what I want to stitch about on and just see what I feel like, I will just go through my shelf, look at all these little tags here, and then find what I feel like stitching on. So, and I will do this for all of my whips. So these two and the other one on the other shelf still need to be done. And this is like the third organization method I'm trying, and the second one that uses like a numbering system. Before I only had numbers. As you can see, these are the old tags, and I had a list on, you know, where they were in my file folders, because some of these that are like this one, this is a paper chart because it's a kit, so I do not have this in markup. So I'm stitching with the paper pattern that I have photographed or scanned in and marked that off in a graphics program on my computer. So this number also signifies where that pattern is in the file folder of all of my patterns, so I can just open it on my computer and work on it. So that is where the actual physical projects live. So, and then we have this one, which is where they live on my computer. So you can see all of these folders are numbered, and in these folders, let me just open one like for my model stitch. I have a picture because that is what I use to print it out, and then there's the PDF. If it has a PDF like this one, then it's obviously in my markup, so I'm not stitching from this PDF, I'm stitching from the markup. If it's a paper chart, like let's just open this one over here. And I'm not going to make these large because you're not supposed to obviously see the pattern, but you can probably see it in the preview. I have the pattern as a graphic file, and the red that you can see here, that is the marked off stitches. So, and then obviously the picture, cover picture, and that is how I work on paper charts. I either scan them in or I photograph them. And then this is where they live. Obviously, this is like 33 in total, which is not nearly all of my works in progress, but I've just started doing this last week, so this will take me a little bit more work. And this one, as well as like the physical storage, works with a Notion chart that I have, and you've possibly seen like other people that are way better at this than I am, that have shown off Notion for cross-stitch projects, and I am trying like my own version of it. I'm not using this to track daily stitches. If I ever start tracking daily stitches again, I will do that with the Google form that I bought from another person that did an awesome job. With my only gripe with that was that it was limited to 100 projects, but this one has total stitches and stitches done. I just manually, when I stitch on something, update the total in here by just editing it to the new total. I do not have this set up to like have a second table that does the math for me or something like that. That I might in the future, but for now I just want all of my current whips in there. And when I have that done, I want all of the patterns that I have that I haven't started yet also in this Notion form, so that I have a better overview of what I actually own. And because I'm a very visual person, this is obviously just a list. That's the name of the pattern, the number I assigned to it. That is also printed on the back, not printed, like written on the back of the card, as you've seen in my shelf, and just the theme, the designer or shop I got it from, if I have it in markup or if it's just a paper pattern. If it's a whip, then the total number of stitches, how many stitches I've done, and the percentages it is at, and if I know it, the day I started it. Sometimes the start date is only the date where I finally put it into markup, but yeah, and the finish date, if there's a finish, but I have not put any finishes in here yet. Obviously, because this is an ocean, I mean, I can't scroll up. I did make this pretty because I love looking at pretty things. There's obviously dragons in there, but I haven't done much with this top part. I will do that when I'm done with everything else. And then there is all the projects and patterns sorted by cover image. So I can also look in here if I want to just choose something to stitch from the day, for the day. And then, yeah, I kind of stole like this little thing from the person I first saw using Notion. I will try to find the name and put it in the description below, so you can, if you like this, you can look at her system and let her explain to you in great detail how she uses it, which will be a lot better than what I'm doing. So I can also order these by how many stitches I still need to finish a project, which obviously, as you see, the blueberry drink is only 270 stitches to a finish. So also Spooky Manor is under 1,000, so both of them should hopefully be doable this week. So yeah, that is my organization that I'm working on. Again, still only 33 in here out of all of my whips, which are probably around 70 or 80 at this point in time. But we will see when all of them are in there. So yeah, let's move back. So yeah, that was it for this week's stitching. As for plans, as I said earlier, I need and want, obviously, as well, to finish the Patreon chart for next month and the spooky release for the upcoming autumn and Halloween, which is also around the corner. And that will be my main focus. I will also work on a few other projects, most likely. As for, yeah, live update, my computer is still working. So the fix that we did last week held. And or the week before last week, so the fix that I told you about last week. Then again, after that was dealt with, I had issues with the car last week. We had some trouble with it before that. It would not start sometimes because something had drained the batteries, and we changed the battery quite a while ago. My brother had another battery at home that we could use, but apparently that did not fix the issue. I went to get gas, and then the car like refused to start again at the gas station. So that was a whole mess that I do not really want to get into too much. It was very stressful because I was on my own and nobody was there to help. And eventually, like, the owner of the gas station managed to get the car started so I could at least drive it home. We do have a start battery now. We ordered one, like one of these small power bank things. It's just this big. But it has, if you ever like started a car using another car with like the two cables that you put in the battery, it has that, but it's technically just a power bank. So you don't need a second car to start your car battery, which is super handy. So we used that, it worked fine. The car started again and everything was good, but it did happen again. So we used that again, it was perfectly fine. We are waiting for our local garage to open again. They are currently on summer break, so they will be back next week, and then we will take the car to the garage and let them check what is messing with the battery. But we do have like something to fix it on the go if we need to in the meantime. It is a 20-year-old car, so issues like that will keep appearing, which is fine. I knew that would happen, and I will continue to deal with it. So that is that. And yeah, I will hopefully see you all again next week. If you liked what you saw, No, it's always not much. That's the thing with the weekly filming. Then I would love to see you again. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy my videos. That would help me quite a lot. And yeah, if you like any of my preview patterns, my model stitches, my Etsy shop and my Patreon are linked below in the comments. And yeah, just a quick other thing before I forget. There is one unfortunate thing that I need to say. For those of you that have considered getting some of my kits, obviously my Etsy shop, the digital charts are available. You can all get them. As for the kits, I am currently physically unable to ship to the US. Most of you that are in the US are probably aware of the issue with the tariffs that have been imposed. I was originally planning on just going to be like, yeah, we here in Europe and in Germany, we have dealt with these kind of tariffs forever. When we order something from abroad, it goes through tariffs, it goes through customs, and usually you have to pay tariffs on that and pick them up from the customs, or they send it to you and you have to pay them at the door or whatever. So for us that's normal. So I would have usually gone and said, yeah, that's the case now. So if you order it and then it gets stuck in customs and you have to pick it up from the customs office and pay a tariff, that's obviously your responsibility as the customer. Because again, for us it's normal. I realize and understand that for you in the US it might be a new thing, but unfortunately our postal office was like, yeah, as long as that's not cleared and we don't know what else goes with it apart from like custom fees and whatnot, we will not offer service to the US. So my postal office will not ship, so I cannot ship. I think that's pretty obvious. Unfortunately, Etsy does not allow me to just exclude the US. So if I get any orders from the US, I will have to cancel them. So just for those of you that are watching from the US and have been thinking about getting a kit, like a physical kit or a needle minder, currently you can still order them on Etsy, but I will have to cancel and refund you because I cannot ship it to you, and you just obviously wouldn't just want to order something that you will not receive. I will keep you updated here as soon as I hear anything that postal services resume, and then I can ship again. It's very unfortunate because, well, as I have been talking about in past Flosstubes, I have been doing more kits recently, and I have ordered material for needle minders that I will be making, and now like one of the largest parts of my market just disappeared. So that's fun, especially for a tiny business like mine. But I hope it's going to be cleared up soon. Obviously the tariffs are most likely not going to disappear, but as soon as my postal service that I'm using here in Germany figures out how to work it, I will be able to ship to you again. Obviously, probably with additional cost on your end, but at least it's gonna be possible. So, and with that sad note, I will end today's video. Again, I hope I will see you again next week. Bye bye.